From Tennessee, from the east to the west, we are talking Cowboys everything. And you just entered
the Cowboy Zone.
Welcome back to another episode of the Cowboy Zone. This is Marcus Jones coming to you live from Memphis, Tennessee.
And this is Lambo from Cowboys, y'all, out of Johnson City, Tennessee.
All right, so we don't have the Victory Wednesday that I expected, but the show must go on. So thank you guys for joining us for this week's episode of the Cowboy Zone. What's up, Jeff? Appreciate you joining.
Hey, Jeff.
I know we got a lot of stuff going on tonight. I see a couple other guys got their podcast going. And also we have an election. So there's a lot of stuff going on around the country.
All at the same time.
I know you guys are tuned into all that. So for the people who are here, we definitely appreciate you guys for joining us. Thank you, Bobby McLean. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, so
me too.
I'm trying to fight through it to get through this, and
I got a migraine.
Talk some Cowboys football, yeah. What's up, Cole?
Oh, right on time. Yeah. Hi, Rosie.
Alejandro.
Is that a new one?
That looks like a new name, so thank you for joining us, and we appreciate the share.
Awesome. Thank you. You know, I knew I should have trusted my gut deep down and picked against us last week. I just wanted to go against everybody that was. I don't know.
You know, I actually got the Eagles score right.
Did you?
23.
23?
Mm-hmm. And we could have had 24 if not for a couple of mistakes, and we're about to talk about that.
Yeah, I thought we was. See, the defense did what I thought the defense could do. I thought that the defense would put us in this game, and it would have put us in this game had DiNucci been better than I thought he would be.
So before we talk about, let's talk about some game positive. And of course, Cole hopping in with the first positive, talking about what about Diggs this week.
Yeah, that's one of them for sure.
So yeah, Lambo, you know, the past couple of weeks we've both been predicting he get an interception, and this week we said we wouldn't predict it because we hoped it would happen, and it looks like our curse worked, and we got a double portion because he got 2 interceptions in one game.
Yeah.
First player to get 2 interceptions in a game in over a decade, I think. Sean Lee was the last one. So yeah. So first of all, what do you think about the second interception, the over-the-shoulder one? I thought it was a great catch.
Was that the one where he got his knee down in the end zone?
Yeah.
Or was that was okay?
That was the second.
Yeah, that was amazing. Just I didn't think he had it at first, and then when they showed the replay, it was just crazy how his shin just went down a split hair before his knee. It was just beautiful. Just good awareness. Man, like, I'm used to having players in the secondary that wouldn't even attempted to gone for that.
Exactly.
They would just jogged it off as, you know, they would have seen his incomplete pass going out of the end zone and just jogged out, you know, started jogging it off. So it's just good awareness on his part.
Alejandro, we'll definitely get to your question in a minute. I see you guys are jumping ahead to the quarterback talk. We got a lot of that coming up. But we like to try to start the show off on a positive, so we're going to stick with Diggs for another minute. Now, to me, Lambo, when I looked at Diggs play, and I told you this a couple weeks ago, and I even tweeted about it when it happened, Diggs has looked tight to me.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like he's pressing because he kind of knows the weight that's on him, and he wants to get that monkey off his back. When he got that first interception, he looked like a different player to me. He looked a lot looser. He was better in coverage. He was turning his head around, and then he made that great second interception.
Yeah.
I really feel like we're going to see at least 5 interceptions this year from Diggs, just from him playing more loose. The pressure's off now.
I think so too. And I remember you did say that to me as soon as you said he's got that first one. He's going to start playing loose now.
Yep.
And he did. He just confidence and everything. He almost jumped one on a little out route too. So he got there quick enough to deflect it, man. But it was close. Another split second, man. It would have been 3 on the day.
Exactly.
So
So while we're talking about the secondary, let's talk about another positive. And the guy we've been begging for 2 years, Donovan Wilson, has been starting the past couple weeks, and he came in with that clutch sack strip. Great play by him. He's just a playmaker.
Yeah. Donovan Wilson. I'm glad that they gave him a chance to stay out there and keep getting these reps because he needed the reps. He really does. I like even that first game he came in, the first or second game. He had some bad plays, but you could tell he still seemed like a hungry, high motor guy, and I'm glad to see him still getting a lot of snaps and starting to prove himself. He's starting to look really good. I think he could be the future at the spot.
We
honestly
definitely got to stick with these young guys and let them keep getting more experience because they keep stepping up for us.
Yeah. I mean, even if we have a horrible season, the experience that they're getting is extremely valuable next year once Dak's back and once we get all these players healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, people are acting like the world's falling off for the Cowboys, but honestly, this reminds me of 2015.
Mm-hmm.
We just couldn't do it without your quarterback.
Right.
And you come back the next year with your quarterback and healthy players and you're a 13-win team.
Young guys stepping up too. There was a lot of young guys this year.
Yeah, and I'm not as worried about the O-line as a lot of people are either. It seems like a lot think that you have to draft a tackle in the first round, but I'm not on that train.
Well, I'll say.
I mean, I will take one I will take one, but
I'm not on the tackle train either. But this Sewell kid is special. Like, if it was anybody else and we had to pick between a tackle and whatever position, I say let's go to the other guy. But this kid is special when it comes to left tackle.
So if we got him, you think they let him play some left guard and then bump him out to tackle when it's Tyron's time to go?
I keep hearing that, but I think he's just too good at tackle to put him at guard.
Yeah.
I would actually, and I said this and people went against me.
Trade Tyron?
I would actually put Collins inside at guard. I would put Sewell at left tackle and move Tyron to right if it was me.
Like we did that with was it Doug Free?
Yeah, Doug Free, exactly.
Yeah, to extend his career and played solid for a few years on the right.
Tyron played like half a season at right tackle, then they made the swap. Then Doug Free started full time the next year.
Lau Collins is an all-pro if he's at left guard, in my opinion.
Exactly. And my other issue is a hip injury is almost like what the ACL used to be. So like 20 years ago when somebody got ACL injury, their career may be over. That's how bad a hip injury could be right now, especially when you're playing an athletic position that requires you to dip your hips and flip your hips and turn. You may want to put him back at guard just so he doesn't have to turn his hips as much. So that's something we got to watch out for.
Yeah.
You don't want to tackle. So yeah, Brian, thank you for joining us. I know you were probably over at Star Gang as well, so we appreciate you checking in with us. Bobby McLean, I see you hopped in as well. Cooper Rush Time, we'll talk about that in a minute. And I saw somebody make a post about Cole talking about Patrick Surtain II. This cornerback group in the draft is deep. Surtain is the name that we know because his dad played, but it's about 5 other corners that you could take other than Surtain, and you probably get the same production. Not taking anything from Surtain, it's just how great this secondary group is this year. All right, so we talked about the secondary. Now let's go to the front trenches because our front seven made several key plays. We had two sacks. One of them was a strip fumble. Of course, D-Law, as usual, feasting against division rivals. How do you think the D-line looked, Lambo, now that we got Poe out of there? Because to me,
much better.
When I looked at the run, I mean, Boston Scott had like one 10-yard run, I think. Other than that, they pretty much shut the run down inside. And then you look at the ends with Gregory and Law, they played a lot of one-on-one because those big D linemen were taking on double teams.
Yeah, it was much improved. Like you said, addition by subtraction.
Yep.
And you could tell.
Yeah. And the play that made me like really aware of that linebacker blitz with LVE. LVE is not a blitzer. He's not a good blitz guy. But when you go back and look at that play, he had an open lane to the quarterback. That's something we haven't seen all year. Jalen blitzed a lot this year, and he could never get there because the inside was just clogged up. And
That was beautiful.
beautiful. And did you see the Brian Baldinger tape breakdown? How guys open across the middle of the field?
Oh, about how Jalen's dude was open?
I didn't want to say his name, but yeah, somebody read the wrong key and two guys were open, and thank God LVE made that sack.
Yeah. I think Law Nation also commented on it or something too on his page.
Definitely happy Pogon.
And yeah, Jalen would have got us burned on that one. Thank goodness that LVE had that free shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bobby, sorry, I just seen your comment up above. Yeah, I'm okay, man. I didn't sleep last night, and I had a migraine real bad, and I think I might have had an hour of sleep in the past 2 days. I'm good.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Alejandro, we don't need to see any howling or any slight. They haven't earned the right to do that this year, in my opinion. They need to just go out there and play football.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cole talks about the Eagles' line as bad as ours. The Eagles had 3 Pro Bowlers on their line, though. They still got their center. They had Jason Peters back. And their left guard is no slouch. Now, Lane Johnson was out, but they had about as healthy a line as they could have starting the season off, for sure. But yeah, so we talked about the positives and we kind of started going into the negatives. I see we got the Jalen got to go hype. I just think they need to take him off the field on passing downs. I don't think Jalen's a bad linebacker. He just can't cover. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right, just play his strengths. Play him to his strengths.
Now, like I said, I don't blame the coaches for simple concept mistakes. If a guy blows cover 3, I can't blame that on the coach. If a guy blows like Jalen did, I can't blame that on the coach because the coach told him what to do. He just didn't do it. What I blame the coach on is the guy consistently makes mistakes and you don't take him out. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Jalen doesn't know how to read keys well. You take him off the field on obvious passing down. Problem solved. He's going to get you 12 tackles a game on first and second down. But on third down, he needs to be on the bench.
I agree.
Yeah. Now
completely.
Now, if he's worth the money, if he's only playing first and second down, that's another question to be talked about. But he shouldn't be on the field on third down.
Yeah, I agree.
And Cole just kind of hit me with that as well. It's a passing league. If he can't be out there on passing downs, we don't need him. And I don't buy into the contract is too good to be on the bench. The name of the game is putting the best players out there in the best positions. I don't care what he makes. If he's hurting the team, you got to put him on the bench in situations where he hurts the team at. And if you don't, you're doing the other 10 guys on the field with them a discredit because now you're playing favorites instead of playing to win. But that's something we could talk about in the offseason when we talk about contracts and things like that. But I'm sure it'll be a recurring theme the rest of this year. So we talked about Jalen. Let's lead into some of these other negatives. And we'll start at the top with Ben DiNucci. And I saw a lot of people making comments about that.
Oh, my goodness. Remind me to never post about Ben DiNucci on my Cowboys Y'all page again. I was getting the heat for my negative comments on Ben DiNucci. You would think I was talking about Roger Staubach or something.
Yeah.
The way... Like, I understand he's a 7th rounder. I understand we didn't have a preseason. But like you said, you can explain some of the most basic things that he should know.
Mm-hmm.
The blitz.
Right. That play that went for a touchdown, I watched the whole all 22. So I have a lot of comments about how Ben DiNucci played. And I have a whole lot of comments about the play calling. But
yeah,
I went to those a lot. But if you're a quarterback and the middle of the field is wide open and a safety comes down past the linebacker, you have to throw a hot route. That last fumble was unacceptable.
And the thing was, like, he was coming full speed ahead. He didn't have to snap the ball while he had full speed. Like, he was, like, about at the line of scrimmage, and he could go ahead and snap it while he got his full speed.
Right.
Not, stop. Okay, let him back up. Hit the hot route. All right, let's reset and do this. Like, I don't know. It was horrible. And then he's just going to stare him down like this for, like, a good couple seconds, like, oh, here he comes.
Right.
Here he comes. Bam. Right in my face. I've seen him the whole time. I'm just gonna watch him all the way in.
Yep.
It was crazy. Like at halftime, he was 2 for 11 on passes going past the line of scrimmage. So basically, you could say passes that have gone for at least an inch. He was 2 for 11 on. Like he was only completing behind the line of scrimmage, and there was nothing. And when he did have throws downfield, there was some times where there was 3 and 4 seconds in the pocket.
Yeah, definitely.
And, like it wasn't a total travesty on the O-line. Still didn't play good, but the O-line actually played overall, I thought, fairly well considering who was out there. And when he had time to make the throws, those throws were just way off. So, yeah, there was just no chance. There was no chance. And all that stuff I heard about 21 mile an hour speed, I didn't see it
At all.
Yeah, I didn't see that at all. So
I blame that on the coaches too.
yeah. So Garrett Gilbert, Cooper Rush, step up and help us get another L.
Now, Alejandro, it's not too much pressure. It's not like we had him going to the line and making calls and check with me and stuff like that. We're just talking basic football. If we can't judge the guy off basic football, then we have some serious issues. I'm not even talking about changing a play or doing a line shift and stuff like that. If those were the problems, I'd say, okay, he's a rookie. He doesn't know that. I didn't get a chance to make a video about DiNucci because I've just been so busy. But I told you guys last week, he has a serious issue with throwing with all arm. He never plants his feet when he throws. And it showed in the way he threw the ball. A lot of balls failed. Yeah,
I seen that.
And on top of that, the commentators, they keep talking about the sidearm throw. That's not him doing a Mahomes imitation. That's how he throws the ball.
Yeah.
He throws the ball sidearm, almost sideways, not 3/4, like full sideways. That's how he throws the ball.
Baseball.
Right. That's not him trying to imitate Mahomes. That's how he throws the ball. And you can't throw the ball sideways and not use your feet and throw accurately. That's just quarterback mechanics. Name me another quarterback who throws the ball like that in the league. That's not how you get it done.
Yeah. Hey, Cole, I'm thinking Rush, kind of, personally.
I said that in a tweet as well. I think it's Rush for sure.
Basically, because he's familiar. You got to remember, he spent a few years in Dallas with Kellen Moore. He was under Kellen Moore the last season. So, I mean, he's probably much more familiar than, obviously, Gilbert or DiNucci is with Kellen Moore's playbook.
And I think Rush gets a little bit of a bad rap. I'm not calling him a great quarterback, but if you go back to his 2017 preseason, he was the number 1 rated quarterback in preseason.
Yeah, he looked good.
And remember, in 2016, Dak was the number 1 rated quarterback. Cooper Rush had some good plays in 2017. Now, 2018, we had the line breakdown. Connor Williams was drafted. Travis Frederick got hurt. That put some guys up from the 2s to the 1s that shouldn't have been playing, and that made us have to scramble to fill in backup spots. He looked horrible that preseason, but he had no blocking. You go back and look at 2019, they tried everything they could to give their job to Mike White. Mike White looked awful in 2019 in the preseason.
Yeah, he was bad.
And then Cooper Rush came in the last 2 games, game and a half, and they were consistently moving the ball down the field. So Rush has some talent. The only problem he has is lack of arm strength and mobility. So I'm not expecting him to come in and perform miracles, but when it comes to making reads and accurate passes, if the Steelers do what the Eagles did last week, which I'm about to talk about, Cooper Rush will have a decent game if he's the starter. And one last thing about DiNucci. Lambo, did you realize that was the first time Zeke ever did direct snaps since he's been in the league?
I didn't. I wasn't sure, but I thought. I remember during the game I was sitting there thinking about it. I was just like, I don't feel like I recall seeing him run out this Wildcat before yet.
He's never done it before.
I didn't really like it, honestly, but
The fact that they did that lets you know they had no faith in DiNucci as a quarterback.
even Cedric Wilson was back there at one point.
Cedric Wilson had 4 snaps as a direct quarterback, and then he had another 2 or 3 where they did kind of a reverse that was supposed to go to a pass.
That reverse they did to him completely ruined that drive.
Yep.
We was run, boom, run, 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 run. Now let's do this and knock ourselves back out of range.
Lose 7 yards.
That was so stupid. I didn't like that at all, man. We're pounding the rock up the middle with success, and then all of a sudden you're going to throw that in. I didn't like it.
Yeah, for sure. Now, speaking of that leads into my second negative for this game, and it was play calling.
Yeah.
The offense had some terrible play calls, and I'm actually going to find time tomorrow and do a video about this one because I need you guys to see this. Before I say that, Alejandro, the NFL changed the rules this year where injured players can't be on the sideline. That's why you haven't seen Dak. Dak was actually trying to fight to get the rule changed and make an exception, but injured players can't be on the sideline because of COVID issues. Because essentially, if you're an injured player, you're not coming in the locker room every day. So basically, you could be sitting at home all week and doing God knows what, and then just come stay on the sideline and get everybody sick. So players who are injured can't be on the sidelines. So I don't know if we're going to see Dak on the sideline this year. Now, back to play calling. And I'm going to make a video to show this tomorrow. For one, like you said, Lambo, way too many cute plays. And guys, let's keep the comments rolling. Let's get the likes up. Let's get the shares up. Make sure you share this to your favorite group. Share it to your personal page. Make sure you subscribe and follow whoever page you're on, and also the other person's page. I'm Bluff City Cowboys, and Lambo is Cowboys, y'all. I had quite a few names at the top that I didn't recognize. So let's get you guys back in here. I know guys like Bobby and Cole are probably going back and forth between us and Star Gangs. We appreciate you joining us. And let's keep the comments coming in. Yeah. So like I said, that tells me and that's actually what I wrote in my notes too, Brian. I wrote too many cute plays.
I remember as soon as that reverse happened, I posted something about being too cute, and then I looked on the news feed like once I refreshed it, I seen like 4 or 5 different people post the word cute. I was like, it was the exact word from everybody. They were like, "Why we get too cute?" Hope we get to talk about Pollard tonight if he can fix the fumbling issue. I like to see him more.
I would like to see him more too, because if you go back and look at the stats, Pollard had a pretty good game this game. I think he averaged 5 yards a carry.
He's averaging more yards per carry than Zeke.
Zeke's averaging about 3.5, 3.3.
Yeah.
And Pollard's still at his usual 4.5, 5 a carry. So we definitely need to see more of him.
Yeah. Zeke ain't exactly averaging that $90 million per carry.
Well, he didn't fumble this week, so that was a positive.
Yeah, that was good. Penny tried to throw the ball to Cooper when he was standing out of bounds.
Yeah. And like Jeff said, the first time it was okay. You kind of caught him off guard. But when you do the exact same play 3 times, at some point the defense is going to be like, okay, we've seen this before. Let's knock him down for 7 yards, which is exactly what happened.
And Jeff, I think it was you earlier in the show. You said, or no, who was it? Somebody said if Andy Dalton, it might have been Cole. Somebody said if Andy Dalton was starting, we win that game, and I think so too. I do. Sure. I don't think Andy Dalton's no like elite guy or nothing like that, but all we needed was average quarterback play to win that game.
Exactly.
That was all we needed.
Or at least somebody who they had enough faith to call audibles. Because,
Yeah.
again, I'm going to do a
Experience.
video tomorrow to show you guys what I saw when I watched the All 22. The Eagles basically played a cover 2, cover 1 zone the whole game. They did not leave that defensive scheme. And to explain that to you guys, basically, the corners played off 7 yards. The safeties played off about 15. They never turned their back to the receiver. All they did was backpedal and watch the receiver and watch the backfield and try to keep the middle clogged up. And they did that for 2 reasons. For one, basically they must have saw that DiNucci couldn't make accurate throws, and they wanted to make sure they could step in front of throws. And number 2, I think we did so much talk about his athleticism that they wanted to make sure nobody was ever out of place and allow him to run. But there were some chances for him to run. Now, you guys noticed we did a lot of the quick hitch plays, which we've kind of wanted for years, like what they used to do with Dez. We should have kept doing it because they never changed their defense. If the corner's playing off more than 7 yards, you throw the quick hitch, you let Gallup or Coop make a move and get 6 or 7 yards. It was there all day, and they stopped doing it. It didn't make sense to me. And I'm going to show this tomorrow too. They ran a lot of plays where the receivers kept trying to run drags and slants or drag routes. When, like I said, they were running cover 2, and cover 2, it basically means you're going to play the center of the field. If they would have just kept running comebacks, given DiNucci obvious throws, easy throws, we would have destroyed them this game. Or we would at least got them out of that cover 2 zone that they kept running. And I'm going to put this video together and post it in the morning because you guys got to see how open comebacks would have been on both sides. And for you guys who watched the game, I know you all did. Think about how many catches Dalton Schultz had. All of his catches were 6-yard comebacks that he turned around and got another 2 or 3 yards.
Yeah.
They only did it with Dalton. They never did it with Gallup. They never did it with Coop. All they had to do was keep running comebacks. I blame that on the coaches.
Yeah.
And we never ran a bootleg. Like, for example, we talked about the Q play. We did one drive where we just let Martin and Tyler B double team Fletcher Cox. Whoever can get off the block, go to the second level, let run behind them. Easy 4 yards. Then they got cute with the double reverse and lost 7. If they would have done bootleg one time when we run the ball like that, DiNucci would have ran for 30 yards because the end kept crashing down on Zeke because they kept running the same play. They never did bootleg, though. Coaches got to do better.
Yeah. I kept thinking that one was going to come. I was just like, okay, there's got to be a bootleg coming soon. Nope.
Yeah. It just didn't make sense. Now, there were some back shoulder opportunities, but with a young quarterback like that and the way he throws the ball, I don't know. Like you said, we need an accurate quarterback. Back shoulders wouldn't have been a good throw for him to make. But the comeback was there all day. Run 7 yards, turn around, show your numbers. DiNucci hit you in the chest. We could have got that off at least 10 times this game, easily. And they never did it. It's amazing to me. And they stopped running the ball. Like, I know West Coast started the whole run the damn ball campaign. This was the perfect game to keep running the damn ball. It was there. And they just kept pulling away from it. And Marlo, good point. We never saw the Belldozer in the Wildcat because that's what he was known for in college.
He blocked very well this game.
He blocked very well. Now, we got to talk about one more negative before we move on. And that is our right tackle, Terrence Steele. I don't know if you knew I was going there or not now, bro.
Yeah, he was bad.
Awful.
I mean, like, anytime you look at the TV, it don't matter what play it was on, you probably seen him struggling.
Every time.
But it's weird because it's like as the rest of the O line actually played better than I thought they were going to.
I agree.
But still was bad though. Still was not good as usual.
Yeah.
When is Brandon Knight back?
I don't know.
In the next few weeks, I thought for some reason.
I for some reason I'm remembering it was a 6-week injury. So I think we're at week 3 right now. So we may get him back.
Well, I only got us having a chance to win 1 out of these next 4 games. So
Is that including this week? I'll save it for game prediction.
yeah. It ain't this week. No, it ain't this week. I'm gonna be realistic. There's no way we're winning.
So you're not keeping the audience in suspense, huh? No way we win this one.
Yeah, I'll keep the score prediction in suspense.
All right. But we know we're gonna lose. We just don't know how bad. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So the trade deadline came and passed yesterday, and for those of you that remember, typical Jones contradictory talk. A couple of weeks ago, they said they would be active buyers in the trade during the trade deadline. I know you guys remember that because I remember seeing the tweet or the comment from Stephen Jones. We're going to be active buyers. Trade deadline came and passed. We only made one move for a seventh round pick in 2022 for a D tackle that nobody's ever heard of. Yep. That was our big move. So Lambo, let's talk about us being buyers. How did you feel about them not making a move to sign a guy other than the D tackle?
Well, to be completely honest, and this is only because I don't feel like we have a team that can compete this year. I was fine with it because I want to see the young guys on the team get a chance to get as many snaps as possible. And for that reason, it didn't bother me at all. I'd rather see all these young guys get out there. I want to see Reggie Robinson getting some snaps soon too, hopefully. And Anai and Bernard. There's a lot of these guys I want to see get more snaps.
For sure.
Rather than us bringing in anybody else.
And I'm 100% in agreement with you. The way this team is set, we have so many young guys we haven't seen. I didn't see the point of bringing somebody in. And I know there was talk about the Desmond King, which was the big trade, trading for Justin Simmons, stuff like that. Now, I got to admit.
6th rounder for King was a good deal.
That was a good deal. I may have considered that one strongly. Now, when I see us not making that kind of move, I hate to say it, but that tells me they're going to find a way to keep Xavier Woods this offseason. That's what that tells me. If you're not bringing a safety in, that tells me you feel like you can sign Xavier Woods.
Yeah.
And the other thing that kind of concerns me with that, we don't make a trade for a safety, but we don't play Reggie Robinson. That doesn't make sense to me. And Lamar says we don't make trade moves because we trust our draft strategy. I mean, that could be it as well. And they could trust the draft the guys that they have. But at the same time, why not play Reggie Robinson at all? We're halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Like you said, Brian, I agree. And William Coulter, you are correct. I just went back and checked while Lambo was talking. You are the first person to hit that bold prediction. You did predict 3 turnovers this week. So we're gonna get you something. So after the show, make sure you inbox myself or Lambo so we can get your information. I don't know whose page you're on, but make sure you just inbox them and we'll try to get some size or something. We'll get something over to you. And Wilson did play a good game. So Lambo, we talked about us being buyers. Let's talk about being sellers. There was a lot of talk about Alden Smith having a pretty active trade market, and they turned down offers. How did you feel about that? How do you feel about us not trading Alden Smith?
What is he? 31. But he still got some juice left in him. I know he's playing a little hurt right now.
Yeah.
I was okay with it. I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think we could have gotten in return for him?
And I was going back and
Realistically,
forth with a lot of people on social media about that. For some reason, and we got to get out of this, guys. We can't talk crap about our players and then think we can get the world in return for them.
yeah. Same thing with the Dak stuff. Dak sucks. Trade him for 2 firsts.
Who first, right?
Oh yeah, okay. But he obviously don't suck if he's worth 2 firsts.
Guys, there's no way in hell we're getting the 3rd or 4th round pick for Alden Smith.
Which is why I'd rather keep him, try to work out a deal, and if you can't get a deal, I'm pretty sure let's see, how many Quinn had like 11 sacks, right, for us or something like
He had
that,
11 sacks, yeah.
and he turned out to be all right. We don't know what he's gonna be, but
It'll probably be a 3rd or a 4th.
yeah. So if Alden Smith gets into that double-digit range this year, we'll get that anyways after the season if we don't resign him in a conditional pick.
Yeah, and if he doesn't play amazing, we may be able to sign him to a cheap deal for
Yeah,
up to
so
2 years. Now, realistically, everybody talks about Seattle wanted to get Alden Smith. Carlos Dunlap is almost the same age as of Alden Smith. He hasn't missed a game in 5 years. Alden Smith hasn't played a game in 5 years. Their production is about the same, and they got Carlos Dunlap for a 6th round pick. So how can anybody expect to get more than a 6th round pick for Alden Smith? That's amazing to me that people think that.
yeah.
To
So they did the right thing.
To me, like you said, if I'm only getting a 6th round pick for him, I'd rather just keep him, get that production this year, and if he leaves next year, I'll more than likely get at least a 6th round compensatory for him the year after. So it's not like I'm losing out on getting a pick. I'm just gonna get it a year later. Or he may like it here and like Jim Tomsula and say, you know what? I don't want to move around the league my entire career. Why don't I take a team-friendly deal for 3 years and ride out the rest of my career here in Dallas?
Yeah.
And Brian, like you said, I wouldn't trade him for a 6th either. Makes no sense.
Don't we still have because of the suspension stuff, we still have Randy Gregory for a few years, don't we?
I think we have him for 1 more year.
Or 1 more year. So
Contract hold, yeah. We extended him last year, but that was supposed to be for this year. But since he's back now, that goes to next year. So we got him for 1 more year.
yeah, so if we want, we don't have to reach on a edge guy technically in next year's draft. I mean, if one's there, obviously you're going to take one, but
now, in my opinion, when I look at the draft, this draft is full of left defensive ends. I don't see a lot of right defensive end guys. So if you're looking to get a guy like a Randy Gregory or a guy like Alden Smith, there aren't that many in this draft. The best pass rusher in the draft that I see right now is the kid from Miami. And I'm not really high on him for a bunch of reasons. I really like the kid from Michigan, but Michigan ends scare me for obvious reasons. And
Taco.
I don't know if he's athletic enough to play right defensive end. I think he's a left defensive end.
Yeah.
DeMarcus Lawrence won't leave the left defensive end spot, so it makes no point in drafting him. And I'm sorry, Lambo. I saw you put the William Coder question up. Did you want to hit that one about getting Vic Beasley or Jonathan Joseph?
I was just throwing it up there.
Okay.
Let's see if you wanted to touch on it or not.
Jonathan Joseph is old. Jonathan Joseph is unproductive, and he's injury prone. I would not touch him at corner. That's just my opinion. Vic Beasley, we could have a discussion about that.
Yeah.
The Falcons let him go this year. The Titans picked him up for $9 million, and they haven't been playing in the past 2 weeks. That's a red flag for a team that couldn't get a sack against Cincinnati, who arguably has a worse offensive line than us. Something's going on there. I don't know what it is, but that concerns me. And because he's a veteran, I have to look at the rules. His contract may toll over to whatever team gets him, and I don't want to pay him $5 million. for the rest of this year. Now, if we could bring him in and work out a deal where he gets paid 800,000, million and a half, we could probably have that conversation. But if I have to pick up his contract and pay $4 million for the rest of the year, no, I'm not touching Vic Beasley. But yeah, good question, William. That's good out of the box thinking, because we always could use another pass rusher, and we always could use another cornerback. And like Jeff says, we don't need to draft it in. If we're not using an eye for whatever reason, we got to see what we got in him before we start talking about drafting ends. Now, I do think we may need a right defensive end, because Alden Smith, like we just talked about, is 30. Randy Gregory is probably 29. So we can't expect them to be high effort guys for 3 years.
Man, it's like in my mind, I still feel like Randy Gregory's that young rookie just because he ain't been on the field. Jeez.
Yep. Crazy.
Man.
Now, I wouldn't go in first round. If there's a guy that I like who has the traits and I just want to have him come in for a year and use him strictly as a designated pass rusher, second or third round in particular or later, I say, yeah, let's go for that. But I'm not using the first round pick for a defensive end unless I think he's special. And I don't see any special ends in this draft right now. But that's just me. I know you guys follow Vach and all the other draft guys, and I think they agree with me as well. The first round this year, and I hate going draft talk, but I love draft talk. Cornerback, linebacker, and wide receiver. That's the first round of this draft. Cornerback, linebacker, linebacker, wide receiver.
Wide receiver?
I don't want to go into that question to the offseason because Jamar Chase is special.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be a top 5 pick. So if we're picking at 4 and the quarterbacks are gone and Sewell's gone.
Ooh. He is special. Hold on. Is Coop, we can get out of Coop next year, right? Or is that 2022?
The only way we can get out of Coop is if somebody agrees to take that guarantee. And
that probably won't happen.
Most teams won't take on a $20 million guarantee on a player. That's why they trade for guys with contracts, because the big signing bonus has already been paid. So they just have to pay out the base salary. So, for example, let's say you sign Coop to a normal contract. His signing bonus is $30 million. His base salary is $8 million a year. If a team traded for him, the $30 million is gone. So all the team have to do is pay him $8 or $10 million a year. They would do that in a heartbeat. The way we structured our deal, we didn't put the money in signing bonus. We put it in guarantee. So now if a team wants him, they have to take on their guarantee. And next year, their guarantee will pay him $28 million. Nobody's touching that.
Yeah.
And if they do, we're damn sure not getting a first round pick for him.
It'd be hard for me to imagine them taking Jamar Chase and just because of who's there right now, unless they could deal one of them.
That would be some good trade bait, though, because somebody's going to fall in love with them. I know I have.
Yeah. They probably would trade back at that scenario.
Yeah, Brian, if that's what you like, the first and second round has everything you want. O-line, linebacker, corner, safety. If that's what you want for this team, this is the best draft to get it in. O-line is not that strong to me. You could probably find a guy in the second round you like outside of Sewell and the tackle from Alabama. And there's a Big Ten guy, maybe Michigan. Those are the only 3 linemen that really stand out. Notre Dame has a guy too. But I don't think they're first rounders other than Sewell. But yeah, all those other positions you want, you can get whatever you want first or second round. Sorry, you guys pulled me in the draft talk, and I'll go in on it. All right, so we talked about the trades. We talked about Philly. Now, the part you guys love. We're 45 minutes. We are now on to Pittsburgh. So we got to talk about it. And Brian asked one more question. Do we consider trading Gallup or do we resign him or let him walk? That's not a question we have to answer till 2022. I don't even want to get into it, honestly. Right now, we're just doing a lot of speculating.
Yeah, it'll be 2022 for sure. And I'm kind of hoping when that happens, Cooper gets traded and we extend Gallup, but we'll see.
By that time, we'll have a lot of moving parts. For one, all of Coop's guarantees will be gone, so it'll be very easy to trade him. Number two, Gallup will be in the last year of his deal, so you'll have to decide whether you're gonna, as my grandfather used to say, either crap or get off the pot. And then you'll have CeeDee Lamb going into his third year, which is usually the big year for receivers. So you will see if he's actually going to be special enough to take over that number one or number two spot. Well, the second year is usually the big year for receivers. So you'll be in the third year and you'll kind of have an idea. So all the Gallup talk, I think we should kind of table it because there's no reason to trade him right now unless somebody blows you away. All right, so now we go on to Pittsburgh tonight. And I think if you guys are like we are, we're not too optimistic about it. So we're going to try to get out of here a little bit closer to an hour because I really don't want to linger and talk a lot about the Pittsburgh game. But we have to cover some things. And the first thing that we'll talk about are the major storylines.
Storylines.
All right, first storyline. And guys, we're 47 minutes. We're going to get out of here in about 20 minutes. So be sure to keep on sending your comments about the game. Be sure to like, subscribe, share it to your personal page, share it to your favorite page. Let's get the word out there. And Brian, I guess since Mendoza's gone, you're going to be the new guy that reads my mind. First major storyline, quarterback position. So it sounds like Danucci's not going to be the quarterback this week. Gary Gilbert was the backup last week, or the practice squad guy. He's got a full week under his belt. And we also brought back Cooper Rush last week. This is his first week back with the team, but he probably knows the Kellen Moore offense better than anybody. So he doesn't have a lot of a learning curve to go through. Yeah. So Lembo, Brian put the question up there. Who do you think starts at quarterback this week?
For me, I think it's going to be Cooper Rush, just for the reasons you just said. He's familiar with Kellen Moore's playbook. He's got the most experience with it. So I think they'll feel more confident in him. And I'm sure at practice he's gonna have the upper hand just because of that reason. He's gonna be more comfortable. Mm-hmm. So if he can just play solid, play average, and make the audibles he needs to make, and the defense can show up anywhere close to what they did last week, then it could give us a chance to only lose by 2 touchdowns.
That's the best we can say, huh?
Because this is a whole nother monster of an offense we're going against this week. So
undefeated Pittsburgh. Oh, defense too now. And we're going to talk about that when we get into key matchups. I agree with you. It has to be Rush.
Yeah.
Rush knows the offense. Rush knows the players. He has a rapport with Coop and Gallup. He has a really good rapport with Gallup because when he was here, Gallup was a backup guy. So they already have a good chemistry.
Can anybody answer this trivia question? I've seen this somewhere along the internet.
All right.
And I don't know the answer to it because I think the person was asking it too, and I can't remember where I seen it. But it's been stuck in my head. If Cooper Rush does start, have we ever seen any other team ever have 2 redhead quarterbacks start in the same season in history? You don't see many redhead quarterbacks. I wonder if anybody else has ever had 2 of them start in the same season.
I can't even think of One, honestly.
Yeah, it's hard to even think of one and think of two starting in 1 year. I can't. I'm still stuck on Dalton and Cooper Rush right now in my head.
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably not.
Lamar says he thinks Garrett starts, but on a short leash. One thing I say about this team, they don't like making changes within the game. So that would concern me. I think they would just keep him in and ride it out if Garrett started and struggled. I don't see them making a quarterback change because that leads into my next storyline. They don't want to make the change at tackle. They don't put in younger players to substitute for guys who are playing awful. They just leave them out there, and that's a problem to me. Yeah, and I was thinking of that too, Jason Garrett. So yeah. So that leads into my next major storyline, and that is the fact that it sounds like Martin's not going back to tackle guys. Stephen Jones came out and said, "This is not fantasy football. You can't just move guys around."
They did it before and it worked.
Exactly.
He played great at right tackle. Played better than Lau Collins at right tackle.
That makes no sense to say that. It's not like we're speculating here. We've seen it with no practice in the middle of a game. The offensive line looked amazing with that one change. It makes no sense to me. You tell me you're not gonna scramble guys around. Terrence still looks terrible. And
yeah, that's probably what it is. Really, they just have too much respect for him as a guy, or they're like, all right. I mean, he's a multi All Pro Bowler.
But it's not permanent though. I mean,
yeah, no.
At worst, he'll play the next 8 games at tackle. At worst.
Mm-hmm.
If Brandon Knight comes back this year, at any point, that's probably going to be the most he plays at tackle. And that might be 3 weeks. I understand he doesn't want to play tackle, but how can you be on a team as a part of a unit that's getting destroyed and you know you could do something to improve that and you say you don't want to do it? That's a big problem for a team. That's a good point, Jeff, but it'll never happen, so it's not even worth it.
It's a weird situation too, because like I love Jerry Jones as an owner.
Yeah,
I'm not as fond as the GM.
Yep.
But I'm a big Jerry Jones guy. I think he has the team's best interest in heart, but he just don't always do the right things.
Yep. And Brian, that's a good point. And I'll say this. I've been saying this for years. I wish I was on podcasts and stuff years ago when I said this. I don't think D-Law wants to play right defensive end, and I feel like that's his best position. I feel like that's been one of our biggest problems on defense. I'll say this, and then I'll leave it alone. When D-Law first came in the league, he was a right defensive end. The next year, we signed Greg Hardy, and Greg Hardy went to right end, and D-Law moved to left end. Greg Hardy left, and then you tell me the right end position is a position of speed and athleticism. You put D-Law, who at the time was 260 pounds, and Crawford, who at the time was 290 pounds. You can't explain to me a reason that tells me Crawford should be your right defensive end. There's nothing you can explain to me for that other than D-Law doesn't want to play right defensive end.
There's nothing you can explain to me about Crawford being on this roster.
Exactly.
So,
not only should he not be on the roster, he shouldn't be playing the position, the most important position on your defensive line. Because right defensive end is your most important position. A guy that we don't even think should be on the roster is playing your most important position. And that's a whole part of the whole me guy stuff. I think I don't want to go any further into it, but I think he's one of those guys like that too as well. And it's showing in his play to me. All right, so got another storyline. We also got a new punter this week. And Lambo, I'll let you take the floor on this one because I know we got a guy from the XFL, and it's not the guy you were looking for, or the AFL, or whatever the old league was
I
called.
think it was the XFL. Yeah, it was the XFL, the DC Defenders.
Mhm.
So it's crazy because if anybody remembers way back before the season, I said one of the biggest positions I wanted us to make a replacement on is I wanted to see Chris Jones out of here because he's been on a steady decline for years now. He's just been really bad punting the ball the last couple of years. And Marquette King's been out there, just available, just a 5-second hang time monster leg of a kicker who played in the XFL, so obviously you could get him for cheap if he's willing to play in the XFL.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't understand why we didn't make a move on Marquette King. But we decided to make a move on another XFL kicker, Hunter Niswander. And I honestly don't know much about him, but I do know he is a 6'5", 243-pound punter.
Yep.
That is a big dude, man.
It is.
So I'm hoping he comes out here and just does great punting because I'm sure we're gonna punt some.
Quite a bit.
And maybe we won't have to see Chris Jones come back. But it's it's kind of sad to say this. I was right as I was about to get out of my mouth, I was like, you know what? That's kind of embarrassing that I'm excited about this. But I was gonna say I'm kind of excited to see him punt the ball. But who gets excited about seeing a guy punt the ball? That's where we're at this year. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe he'll be the future replacement. He can't be worse than Chris Jones was doing anyways.
No, he can't be.
So I mean, at worst, he'll be the same. And maybe we got us a punter of the future in this guy. So I think he'll do better than Jones, honestly. We'll see, but
yeah, that's right, Ron. We will see him a lot this week.
let's see. Prior to being in the XFL, he was a 3-year starter at Northwestern in college. Before going on to finish second in the XFL with 44.6 yards per punt. He pinned 8 of those punts inside the 20. It's funny, he finished second in the XFL, 44.6, and I know for a fact from research before, Marquette King is who finished first.
Yep.
That's the guy I wanted, but we'll see. We'll see what this guy does.
Yep. All right, guys. So that's about all I have for major storylines. So let's go to our next topic. We're at 58 minutes, so we'll try to hit key matchups and we'll do game predictions. Just like last week, we'll probably save bold predictions for our Sunday pregame show. So make sure you guys tune in this Sunday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, for our pregame show where we're going to do over, under, bold predictions, and fantasy favorites. So we're about 10, 15 minutes left, so keep your comments coming in. We probably won't open the phone lines up tonight either. Want to try to get out as close to an hour as we can, just because Lambo and I are both feeling kind of under the weather. But we're true Cowboy fans, and we respect you guys too much to not let the show go on. So now we will go into our key matchups of the week.
Key matchups.
All right, let's start at the top. TJ Watt versus Terrence Steele. This is going to be
the worst matchup you could come up with in the NFL this season.
If you guys think that Garrett's going to start, this is going to be what determines how long he plays, because TJ Watt may kill both of our quarterbacks. We might see at some point.
Oh, man.
So last week I talked about over under and plus or minus a high number. I think I'm going to go this week on the pregame show over under just TJ Watt and how many sacks he gets.
TJ Watt is I'm trying to remember the stat. He was first in out of every edge rusher in the league in pressures, I believe it was. Last time I checked. And So yeah, and he's going up against Terrence Steele, who struggles against anyone that lines up against him. So
If you guys think Miles Garrett killed Terrence Steele, you ain't seen nothing yet. I'm really concerned about this one. Like, I almost feel like you have to keep a tackle in.
you know, if you start a defensive player in fantasy, you might want to pick up T.J. Watt this week.
Yeah.
He might rack up 4 or 5 sacks.
For sure. Now, we got to go to our second key matchup, which is another major one for me, and that's Minkah Fitzpatrick. They're all-world safety who we should have traded for,
Yep.
and him playing versus our quarterback. Now, if you guys remember during the Arizona game, I tried to warn you all about Buda Baker. Buda Baker plays all over the field. Like, you never know where he is in any play. Fitzpatrick is a much better version of Buda Baker. So we got to keep eyes on him at every point, and he's going to be reading passing lanes nonstop. And like you said, William, about T.J. Watt, tight end has to stay over there the whole game. For sure. So, Lambo, I know you know a little bit about Minkah Fitzpatrick. Like, how do you think we could possibly combat that? His ability to just make plays and return interceptions. Can we do anything to stop him? Or which one concerns you more, Fitzpatrick or Watt?
Watt concerns me more, probably.
For me, it's actually Fitzpatrick.
Is it?
You can, if the coaches were smart, you could halfway attempt to neutralize Watt. You could try to. There's nothing you could do about Fitzpatrick because our quarterbacks aren't smart enough to outgame him.
Yeah.
And he just gets free reign in the secondary. And I'm expecting a pick six. I hate to say it.
The play calling is going to have to be tremendous in order to really limit his impact.
And the receivers too.
Yeah, and we haven't really seen tremendous play calling as of late. So, it's hard to really find some positive takes on these two matchups for sure, man. This is gonna be a rough game for us.
It is. So
we'll have cute plays.
Yeah. You can't do many cute plays against this guy. He's too athletic to try to play around him. Man, I just think about we could have had him. Ugh.
I know. It's funny, too, because when they traded for him, I was like, oh, first, I'm glad we didn't do that. Now I feel stupid.
Oh, I was screaming for a first for Fitzpatrick.
Were you?
Yes. Loved the kid.
I liked him in college, but, like, I don't know. It was weird. At the time, I didn't see, I guess, where the Dolphins really hid a lot of his talent.
The Dolphins played him at nickel corner. They didn't play him at safety. That was the problem. Yeah, he played almost strictly nickel corner for their team. And I was like,
man,
this kid is too special for you to not let him put him in open field and let him make plays.
Imagine if we made that trade.
I know. Yep. And actually, I believe that was the year before we took. That was the LVE year. So we probably would have had him over LVE if we did that trade. But even with that, I still would have been happy with that because that kid is special.
Yeah.
And I was actually talking about we could have had Watt if we didn't draft Taco over him.
Yeah, man. We could have had right now we could have had Jalen Ramsey.
Are you going all the way back?
Jalen Ramsey, man. We could have T.J. Watt. We could have had Miles Jack.
It's a lot of players we missed out on. Brian asked the question, how was Pittsburgh against the screen game? I don't know a lot about the Steelers this year. I haven't watched a whole lot of them, but what I will say is their defense is predicated off zone blitzes, and the concept of the zone blitz is very susceptible against the screen game, because if you read it right and you throw the screen from the side where the blitz is coming from, you're going to have a wide open run. So I don't know about them specifically, but knowing that they run a zone blitzing scheme, if you hit it, you can hit big. So definitely. And we could have had Buda Baker, like Jeff said. I still remember that draft. Me and Jeff were like, you take that kid first round. He went in the second. I was really high on Buda Baker coming out of Washington. Jersey swap predictions.
Are they jersey swapping this year?
I
feel like I haven't really seen the jersey swapping due to COVID restrictions or something. I thought. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it might be. That's if they do it, though. You never know. They play their corners pressed. So if you do it, you got to make sure you have a guy who can kick out on that corner. So that's something to definitely look out for. And speaking of corners, let's go to the other key matchups. And first of all, our corners versus their receivers. So we got Chase Claypool, the highly touted corner, rookie receiver. Lambo, I know you were really high on Chase Claypool in the draft. I remember that when we talked about it.
Yeah, that was one of the receivers that was starting to sneak into my top 5.
Yep.
Yeah. He other than him, Calvin Johnson is the only other 6'5" dude with that kind of speed, or 6'5", 230-pound dude with that kind of speed. So teams are regretting passing on him so many times.
And now Diggs has another tough matchup. 6'5", 4'3". Gonna be interesting.
This is a real tough one.
It is.
This is a real tough one. It might be back down to reality a little bit this week.
And you almost have to put him exclusively on him because our other corners are 5'11". You can't put 5'11" Brown or 5'9" Jordan Lewis on 6'5" Claypool.
I just read Jeff's comment.
Yeah. So you almost have to put Claypool on him.
Is Awuzie going to be back this week? Have we heard anything on that?
We don't know.
Yeah, so I'm sorry for the background. My daughter's crying.
And then we got another matchup on the other side. If Awuzie's not back, you have Anthony Brown versus Juju Smith-Schuster. Now, he's had a pretty quiet season, but he's one of those shifty receivers, and Brown struggles against shifty guys. So that's definitely another thing we got to pay attention to. So, and then we got on our side, they still have Joe Hayden, which I forgot to talk about.
The ageless wonder.
Ageless wonder. And he likes to follow. So he's going to be following Coop exclusively. Oh, yeah. Their slot, Deontay Johnson, is a dog. I actually think he's their best receiver, honestly. But Claypool's been the one getting all the touchdowns. I think Deontay Johnson's their best receiver right now. And Jordan Lewis has his hands full if that's who he has to go against. So, guys, I see you guys in the comments. We're at hour 10. Do you have any other matchups, any other things you want to talk about before we get out of here? I'll scan through the comments again to see if I missed anything. Somebody made a comment about special teams. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting game. I don't know if we can move the ball against these guys. I don't know if we can. I feel like and that's a good question, Brian.
Yeah.
Another key matchup. Their run game versus our run defense. Like I said, our run defense has been pretty good lately.
It's been pretty good. I still will say I give the edge to their run game.
Their offensive line is probably top. They're probably top 2. At number 2 at worst.
Yeah, they ain't got the injury bug this year like we do.
And it's a very physical line as well.
Yeah.
So, and their running back all their running backs are physical. So I feel like this could be a ground and pound game, and they just wear the clock out on us.
Probably, and they'll probably still be able to run the score up just running the ball. Honestly, I'm not feeling good about this game at all. Mike Tomlin did mention something though. He said, which I kind of found pretty true. He said that the 2020 Cowboys remind him of last year's 2019 Steelers. Because they were just dealing with a lot of injuries and a lot of things that had kind of ruined and held them back some. But so he kind of just compared us to the last year's Steelers, and I kind of see us in that same. I see in that same way. I think we could be doing what they're doing next year. So I found that interesting. We were going to get killed, possibly, quite possibly. I will be extremely surprised if we are within 2 touchdowns. That's where I'm at right now. I think there's no way that we're even within 2 touchdowns.
All right, Lambo's trying to go to game predictions early. Before we do that and get out of here, Jeff asked about Jalen versus Ebron. It's gonna be interesting. I feel like they let Sean Lee play a little bit more this week, so hopefully that helps us out a little bit in terms of getting Jalen off the field. I still feel like they got to get him off the field on obvious passing downs. They just have to find a way. But if they don't, Ebron's a tall, athletic tight end who has some down years. But when you got a guy like Jalen lined up in front of you, that's the perfect time to go off. So that one does concern me. And Williams says they scored 2 touchdowns on defense. I wish I could come up with an argument against that, William. I really can't. And since it looks like everybody's heading that way where the hour is 12, let's go ahead and do our last segment of the day, and then we'll get out of here. So now we'll do our game predictions.
Game prediction.
All right, so guys, whoever's left, put game predictions in the comments. I can write them down and keep record of them. And while we do that, Lambo, let me get your game prediction first.
Oh man, let's see. Get into this brain. I'm going to say 43.
Ouch. Ouch. 43.
43-17 Steelers.
Okay. William said 45-3. You said 40 what to 3, Lambo?
43-17 Steelers, and there's going to be 2 defensive touchdowns that I think is why that score is going to be ran up so easy.
Okay. I have a little bit more faith in our defense. Not much.
Is anybody picking us to win this game, by the way?
So I think if Cooper Rush plays and our running game is on point and our defense steps up, we still lose, but it'll be closer than I think. So I'm going to put us at 34-10.
Yeah, sounds realistic.
Actually, I think your score is realistic.
43-17, yeah, that could happen.
I'm trying to see how we get 17, honestly, but so I'm going 34-10. I think they take pity on us and start running the ball and running the clock out. All right, Lamar has 31-10. So nobody's picking Dallas, huh? Nobody's picking Dallas. Can't say that I blame you. All right, I don't know if we still have Cole here or not, but Cole, let's get your score in before we go. I know we got a lot of podcasts going on tonight, as well as the election. So I know you guys are probably kind of spread thin on social media looking at different stuff.
Is Cole still in here?
I don't think so. Oh, we got one. Alejandro.
Oh.
24-21.
Yeah. Putting that up there.
I don't see how we keep them under 30, but hey.
Man,
One.
I'll tell you what. If our defense can keep them under 30, even if we lose the game, if they keep them under 30, then we're gonna make a huge, a deep run next year when Dak and the O-line's back healthy.
Yeah. I'm actually liking the defense right now, though. I think we can.
I am starting to too.
If not for the changes we made, I would be right there with you guys, 45, 47 points. But I feel like the defense can hold them a touchdown less than I expect.
Yeah.
Jeff, I agree. Last week was our best chance for 24 points, and we screwed the pooch on 2 red zone opportunities. I don't think we get in the red zone this game.
Well, technically, I like the direction of our defense too, and if you take away the 14 points that I think they get off of our offensive turnovers, where I think their defense is going to score 14, then they would technically be scoring, 29?
Yeah.
On offense. So I could see a pick 6. I could see a sack strip fumble return. Yep. Hopefully not. I would actually, this is weird to say, but I would actually come away pretty happy if, we're within about 10 points and a loss against them with what we have.
I don't see how it can happen, but I would be too.
I don't either.
I'm trying hard to find a silver lining now, bro. I promise you.
Honestly, the only thing that will make me happy this week is to see our division rivals, and this is one of those really rare situations, but I want to see them all win when we lose, because I just want the better pick at this point.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at.
What was the score against Arizona? 45-10, something like that?
I don't remember.
I think the Steelers are a better version of what we saw with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
They don't have the robo quarterback, but everything else, they're a better version of it.
We didn't even bring up the fact that Andy Dalton had COVID, did we?
No, we didn't. Well,
I was just sitting here thinking, man, if we had Andy Dalton, I would change this some. And I'm like, hold up. Yeah. Poor guy gets rocked, gets a concussion, and then gets COVID right after it.
He probably refused to play before the bye week. That's what I think.
The dude that hit him, slipped my mind his name, but he only got like a $12,000 fine and nothing else.
Yep.
So, slap on the wrist.
Well, I guess they felt like if our team felt like it was a big deal, they shouldn't either.
Yeah, I'm more mad about that than I am his punishment. That's pathetic, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe nobody stood up for him on that. Bostic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brian and Jeff. All right, guys, we're at hour 18. Again, for all you guys that stuck with us tonight, thank you for sticking with us. I know there's a lot going on tonight. Lambo and I are both under the weather, so we tried our best to bring you a good show. We hope you guys enjoyed it, and we hope you guys come back and join us this Sunday, where we'll do our over-under, our bold predictions, and our fantasy favorites. So, again, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you come back this Sunday again. And before we go, Lambo, hit them with that social media.
You guys can follow me on at Cowboys Y'all on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Patreon. And on Instagram, I am Cowboys Y'all 88. Please come subscribe, especially though on YouTube, and hit that little bell. Thank you guys.
All right. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Bluff City Cowboys. I'm still trying to move up on those subscribers, so make sure you guys go click that subscribe button. And also click that bell so that you can be notified when we go on the air. Also, find me on Twitter, Bluff Cowboys. Thank you, Brian. We really appreciate it. Find me on Twitter, Bluff Cowboys. We didn't have any Twitter followers or watchers today. So make sure you guys help us get those likes up on Twitter to build our fan base. Again, we'll see you guys this Sunday for our pregame show at 11 o'clock Central Time. So we hope you guys come back and join us for that. And Lambo, you got any closing words before we go?
So we'll see you guys on Sunday.
All right. Well, that's it for the Cowboy Zone. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on Sunday.